I think the more I play Fortnite, the more I realize just how divisive Zero Build is and how bad it split the community. So, if you're like me, you have friends who play both builds and zero builds all the time, right? That's nothing new. That's kind of, friends kind of took one lane or the other whenever zero builds was introduced. But I think it's weird, just like how hated zero builds can be by a lot of people. Normally when you're playing with zero builds friends, you're not gonna make them play builds, right? But I have some friends who will like join the party and they'll be like, oh my god, we're playing zero builds, and then leave. Zero builds has its advantages. I'll say that, I'll give it that. And I think there's some advantages that a lot of people don't realize or think about often. No, when I say I like zero builds, I'm talking about, I like the vibe better. I like how it feels to play on a late night with some friends, compared to Atlee's builds, right? I love builds. I play builds mostly in first, but there's something oddly satisfying about just hitting your shots. And I think that's something that a lot of people have just disregarded when it comes to Fortnite, is aim and accuracy. Fortnite players, at least in the competitive scene, don't train their aim. Not at all. Because it doesn't matter when you're in builds, right? All that matters is that you can, quickly do whatever. Whether it's building or editing or fucking, I don't know, one pumping someone. All they care about is speed, not accuracy. Which zero builds is the complete opposite. A lot of the time you have to really think about what you're carrying, because you can't just have like 4 guns and a heal, because you need cover at some point, right? Say you're in a little like trench, you need cover. But I think it's important to really just like think about the downside to not having an open mind when it comes to playing Fortnite in Fortnite modes, because a lot of people, they'll just be like, you play X, right? Whether it's builds or zero builds. Some people complain, oh, you're sweaty, you're too try hard if you play builds, while other people will be like, you suck and you don't know how to build and you need to just learn if you play zero builds. Fortnite today makes it so hard to learn builds. So a lot of people who are newer are just they're just gonna play zero builds. Even people who like took a break and came back, like Ninja or some other creators I don't really keep up. Well, a lot of those guys, they're playing zero builds now because they find it so much easier, right? And I respect them because, they represent a set of the community that a lot of people don't, which is zero builds, right? How many zero builds YouTubers do you know? If they're commentary channels, probably a lot. If it's, gameplay and streamers, there's not a lot. I think they're like the big ones are like Ninja and Zemi, but that's about it. But yeah, I don't know. I think zero builds kind of just being like discredited as a viable way to play the game by a lot of people because they suck and they don't like it and their aim is just not good. Which, I mean, I don't want to put anybody down, but that's the honest truth. If you don't like zero builds, you probably just don't hit your shots as often,